A brief Russian report published in the press in recent days contains a seemingly simple statement. Russia may dispatch production to India in a version with foreign components. This brief line has generated considerable interest within aviation circles and has been repeated by multiple outlets. The same diplomatically worded meetings and memoranda also mention another regional aircraft, the turboprop Il-114-300, which Indian officials and industry representatives have reportedly identified as a potential candidate for collaborative development or local manufacturing. Together, these points suggest that both Russia and India may be recalibrating their civil aviation strategies. Russia is searching for new ways to address supply chain disruptions and sanctions, while India aims to accelerate domestic aircraft production and improve regional air connectivity. The video consolidates the publicly available information, explains the technical and geopolitical background, and outlines the practical challenges and likely consequences. The Business Online report indicates that the United Aircraft Corporation, abbreviated as UAC, is considering the possibility of manufacturing the Sukhoi Superjet 100 in India while retaining foreign onboard systems. This wording is cautious. It says can send, implying possibility rather than commitment. The plan described suggests that Superjet 100s built at the Komsomolsk-na-Amur aircraft plant, often abbreviated as NAE, would initially serve Russia's domestic market. In short, sources indicate that the proposal is being evaluated, not finalized. That subtle point matters. Over the past 3 years, the Superjet program has experienced major setbacks due to global political developments. The original Superjet design was partly international. Its airframe and many systems were Russian, but essential items such as engines and avionics came from European and other foreign suppliers. After the 2022 sanctions, Western components became difficult or impossible to acquire, making the partly imported Superjet vulnerable. Russia began an import substitution effort using new domestic avionics, domestic systems, and an alternative domestically produced engine. But these replacements have been technically and commercially difficult, causing significant delays. The new approach, assembling aircraft in India using the original foreign components, appears to be an attempt to preserve the original configuration by moving production outside the direct impact of sanctions. Why consider moving or licensing Superjet production to India? There are 3 parallel reasons that may explain UAC's interest. First, from a commercial perspective, keeping the original non-Russian components ensures that proven and certified equipment remains part of the aircraft, avoiding the early problems that often accompany rushed domestic substitutions. An aircraft built outside Russia using the original global supplier network may achieve quicker certification for international buyers and may be viewed as more reliable than a fully Russified variant. This matters for airlines beyond Russia and for operators who value standardized global avionics, engines, and maintenance networks. Second, the move acts as a sanctions avoidance strategy. Assembling the aircraft in a country not subject to the same export restrictions, while using components that are legally allowed to be supplied there, offers a technically viable, though politically sensitive, way to maintain the production line. Declaring an aircraft sanctions-free is not merely a slogan. If its components and the final aircraft are produced or handled outside the sanction-enforcing jurisdiction, certain legal barriers are reduced. Still, sanctions do not disappear. Banking, insurance, and legal frameworks will strongly affect any export strategy. Third, India's strategic industrial goals align with such a project. New Delhi has consistently expressed its desire to expand its aerospace manufacturing capacity, including increasing the proportion of domestically built civilian and military aircraft. Assembling a passenger jet in India offers benefits such as technology transfer, workforce development, and industrial growth. Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, commonly called HAL, has already been mentioned in reports regarding discussions with UAC about the Superjet, and both sides have acknowledged cooperation in the regional aircraft field. For India, a licensed Superjet program could support regional development and establish a local aircraft in the 80 to 110-seat category. At the same time, Russian officials and media report that India has expressed interest in the Ilyushin Il-114-300, a modernized turboprop designed to be fully domestic, free of Western dependencies, and adaptable to remote or challenging airfields. The Il-114-300 was engineered for autonomy. It uses Russian engines, Russian avionics, and domestically produced systems. This feature makes it more attractive to countries concerned about sanctions, since it avoids the vulnerabilities associated with earlier import-dependent aircraft, such as the Superjet. Recent statements by senior Russian aerospace officials suggest that Russia and India have begun discussing joint production or assembly of the Il-114-300 and have signed memoranda of intent. For India, a turboprop is ideal for short regional routes, smaller airports, and feeder services connecting Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities to major hubs. For Russia, the Il-114-300 offers a stable, domestically sourced platform with fewer sanction-related complications. Now consider the technical and commercial challenges. Agreements and memoranda do not guarantee successful implementation. Any aircraft program involving cross-national assembly, design authority, certification, and after-sales support encounters substantial practical hurdles. Certification is the first barrier. Civil aircraft must comply with rigorous safety standards issued by aviation regulators. Moving an assembly line to India or establishing a joint venture requires coordination with the Directorate General of Civil Aviation, known as the DGCA, and likely with international regulators if exports are intended. Aircraft with complex multinational supply chains require extensive documentation, clear component traceability, and well-defined maintenance procedures. Supply chain dynamics form the second challenge. If the Indian Superjet is to include Western components, suppliers must be willing to sell to a production line assembling a Russian-designed aircraft. Banks and insurers will examine ownership, end use, and risk before approving such transactions. If risks appear high, suppliers may refuse or require strict legal safeguards. This explains why the Il-114-300, which avoids Western suppliers, is often seen as an easier cooperative project. The third constraint is economic. Manufacturing a regional jet with relatively low production volume requires large investments, and profit margins in this segment have traditionally been narrow. For viability, the program needs secure long-term orders, predictable operating costs, and a strong spare parts and maintenance network. India's interest is strategic, but commercial success requires customers beyond the initial governmental support. So what might happen in the next 12 to 24 months? Several outcomes are possible, each with different timelines. One plausible path is a formal memorandum of understanding that allows HAL and UAC to build a framework for assembly, component manufacturing, and technology transfer. Several indicators show that such discussions are already underway. The next step would be a structured, project-based joint venture, aligning with both India's industrial goals and Russia's need to preserve production capacity. Another possibility is starting with the Il-114-300, which is already fully compliant with Russian domestic standards. This could allow a faster setup of joint assembly or licensed production without relying on Western suppliers. For India, seeking rapid expansion of regional turboprop capability, this is the quickest solution. A less favorable scenario involves legal, financial, or political obstacles slowing down both projects, leaving them mostly symbolic for some time. Political symbolism is important. Aviation cooperation is a strong diplomatic signal. But turning that symbolism into certified aircraft generating revenue is much harder. If India and Russia successfully establish a production corridor for regional aircraft, the impact would extend far beyond a pair of factories. For India, this would mark a major step in civil aviation capability, requiring advances in avionics, composite materials, systems integration, and maintenance infrastructure. It would also strengthen India's negotiating position in global aviation supply networks. For Russia, it would preserve legacy programs, support aerospace employment, and provide a route to export markets otherwise closed by sanctions. Still, the arrangement requires close attention. Western regulators will ensure that no restricted technology bypasses export controls. Insurance firms will examine political and operational risks before underwriting aircraft. Airlines and leasing firms will weigh reliability, training, and operational concerns against cost and political incentives. In summary, Russian industry sources state that UAC may consider relocating Superjet production to India using foreign components, although this remains under evaluation. Meanwhile, the Il-114-300 is viewed as a simpler and more politically feasible collaboration partner due to its fully domestic design. Both initiatives show a strong interest in deepening civil aviation cooperation, but moving from memoranda to real production will depend on certification clarity, supplier willingness, insurance approval, and whether India chooses rapid scaling or gradual development. If you think the video was informative, please like, subscribe, and share. Please also take membership of the channel to encourage us.